everyone, this is Elizabeth with 217 Creations, and today I'm going to show you how I do alcohol inks when it comes to die cuts, altering items, as well as custom tinting rhinestones. The first thing I'm going to do to get started is bring out my well-loved Ink Essentials Nonstick Craft Mat. This is an essential with alcohol ink. As you can see, I use mine all the time. It prevents stains from getting on top of my table, and I also use it for heat embossing because nothing really sticks to it and the embossing powder just kind of flakes off. So this is a great item. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get out my little inking tool from Tim Holtz, and I'm going to grab my felt applicator pads. In my other video I showed you how to use the foam. This is how to use the felt. Now I cheat. I don't use the Tim Holtz pre-cut felt pads. They just get too expensive because I use them a lot. Instead, I buy craft felt out of the craft department, like in Michael's or Joann or Hobby Lobby. It runs like 19 cents a sheet, and just cut off bits and pieces as I need it. Saves a lot of money. So more money to buy more toys. So I'm going to start by putting my felt pad on there, and the first thing I'm going to do is show you how I made these leaves right here from this. As you can see, it's a dramatic difference. Very quick, very easy. So the first thing we're going to do is lay our leaf down. These are kind of rubbery and bendable. I think they're from Prima. I found them on the clearance rack, but it was like an open package at Michael's. It was cheap. I think I paid like $1 and got a whole stack of them. It was missing a few. So I'm not quite 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure these are from Prima. So I'm going to start with 3 colors to do the first tinting. Ginger. As you can see, I just tap a few dots of color, nothing specific. Currant, and red pepper. And they're probably all going to look the same on the video, but once I start tapping them onto the leaf, you can see the colors start to come out on the alcohol ink. Alcohol ink is great for anything with a non-porous surface. So plastics, transparencies, metals, anything like that. I really love the alcohol ink on. Okay, so there's my first layer, and because I'm not worried about saving too many of those just because of the sheer cost, I'm just going to put a fresh one on, and I'm going to do my second layer, and this time I'm going to use shades of brown. So I'm going to use mushroom, latte, and caramel. And this is going to add a brown tone on top of these reds, so I can kind of get that more rust color, which is what my heritage album for my friend Pam's website is that I'm working on. So that'll be my next video. Okay, so I've got those on there. Okay, look at the difference already. Now for a cool little trick. If you are using alcohol inks, you'll want to use the archival ink. If you're going to stamp on top of something that has alcohol ink, these are oil-based, so they won't react. There won't be a chemical reaction, and you'll get a better result. So I'm using olive and jet black. So I'm going to go into the olive first, and once again I have one of my felt stamp pads, and I'm just going to dab it in there. Now it does take archival about 20 minutes to fully dry, so you're not going to want to touch these for a little bit while they're drying. And I don't have a precise method when it comes to doing these. Sometimes I do like a tapping, and then sometimes I do like a twist. The more pressure you place on it, the more color deposit you're going to get. So then I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to dab into that jet black. And on the black, I just kind of do a few stamps down the center. I don't want it to be overpowering. And then you can take it and then lightly buff it, and it'll blow out the black from the center out to the edges, and you'll get a fabulous distressed leaf. It looks very, very expensive. So that's how I do these. Absolutely love them. So we're going to put those away. Now I'm going to show you how I do my custom tinted rhinestones. And here's some ones I already did. These are for my heritage album that I'm doing for this week. So, and what they are cheap little rhinestones that I bought in a 1-pound bag out of the craft department at Michael's. I believe after the 40% off coupon, they run right around $8, $9 for the bag. So for $9, I have a huge amount of rhinestones that I store in a jar like this. And as you can see, those will last me a very, very, very long time. So I'm going to take my stones, once again, just throw them on top of here. I've also tossed some dewdrops on here, some little crystal accents. And I'm going to put on a fresh applicator. And on these, I think I'll use a little bit of watermelon. And then I think I'm going to put a little bit of oregano and a little bit of currant. And I'm going to just tap them in there. And look at that. And they dry so fast. It's fabulous. I mean, that didn't take but 30 seconds to tint those. I just love being able to tint my own rhinestones. Okay, the last thing I want to show you on this video is transparencies. And any kind of acetate or transparency you can tint. It's a non-porous item. So this is one I've already done. So I'm going to show you how I did that. This is a page that's going into my Heritage album. So I'm going to take off my old one, put a new one on. And the colors for this, I'm going to use the watermelon, red pepper, and currant. Okay, I've got all those, and I'm just going to start dabbing that around. Now, if I'm doing a large spaced item, such as a transparency, you're going to want to also have some of the blending solution. And I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. It's starting to come out, and you can see it really start to pull together. Okay, so there's the first layer of color. This is the blending solution. And what this does is it'll help lighten color. If you get too much color, it'll also blend the colors together and make them look more uniform. So from here, I'm going to add a little bit of the copper mixative. Now, mixatives are really, really fun. They come in silver, gold, copper, and pearl. And they actually have a little paint ball inside there, so you want to give those a good shake before you get started. They're much more concentrated, if you can believe it, than alcohol ink. So really, like 1 or 2 drops is all you need for your project. Otherwise, it'll get too opaque. And so I'm going to just dab that copper mixative in. You can kind of see it start to dot. And this is where your blending solution is going to make a huge difference. So I'm going to come in with my blending solution and just a little bit of blending solution onto it, and they'll all start to kind of melt together, and it'll start to look like one cohesive page of color. I just thought this would be so neat to break up the pages in my Heritage book so it doesn't look too flat. I'll have some dimension. And there you go. I feel like it might need just a little bit more. I think I'm going to add a bit of oregano to it. Oh yeah, that looks better. And you can see I really don't have a particular way. Sometimes I kind of do like this stamp and twist. You'll find your own way that works best in each project. I maybe change it up a little bit, but you get the overall idea. The alcohol inks come in pastels, brights, and then also earth tones. So there you go for that. This is another project that I did a while back, and this was a request by a follower to show how I tinted the transparency. And this is actually overhead transparency that I tinted. This box is from Tags, Bags, Boxes, and More. I used it as a wedding favor idea. So this method that I used for tinting this box is the same method that I just used for tinting those transparencies. So I hope this gives you some inspiration and some ideas. I love followers, subscribers, and of course I love comments as well. So I hope you have a great day, and thank you very much.